So this is the second part of lunar eclipse for the September 7th, 2025. And in this part, I will analyze it through the charts of China, Russia, and India, as they say in astrological texts that effects of eclipses, especially full one, can be seen days before it's happening. And what we witnessed, the meeting of China, India, and Russia leaders, the forces are coming together. Isn't it great reflection of kite situation in skies between outer planets, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune? We see number 3 everywhere. So, for India's independence chart, this eclipse strikes right on the 10th cusp, the house of government, leadership, and global reputation. This means India's public image, authority, and voice of the people are directly under eclipse light. Achernar is not a soft star. It symbolizes endings, purification, karmic closure. Cycles that have run their course for India's role on the world stage are about to be changed, transformed, some of them burned away. At the same time, Saturn in Pisces and Pluto in Capricorn are hamming the moon. The people feel squeezed between heavy authority on one side and deep ideological transformation on the other side. India's masses may feel trapped, yet something larger is forcing change. And then comes Uranus. By station, Uranus is sitting right on India's ascendant. Degree is unbelievable. The national identity itself, the ascendant is. Uranus's shock, revolution, rupture, when it sits on the rising degree, it rewrites the face of the nation. And as a co-ruler of Indian's 9th house, which is law, dharma, philosophy, and foreign policy, Uranus shakes the foundation of India's destiny. An eclipse on the 10th house cusp, leadership, karma, ripens. Transit Uranus right on the ascendant, its identity quake, sudden rebranding of India before the world. The scenarios are clear. On the higher evolutionary path, India rises as a spiritual and technological breach, a leader in digital economy, law, spiritual diplomacy, let alone resources stuff. On the lower path, India faces political crisis, mass unrest, scandals, or upheaval tied to law and religion. But at its core, this eclipse is India's initiation moment. The sword of Achernar cuts sharply. It will either sever what is corrupt or it will wound, or both. Uranus guarantees it won't be gradual. India is being thrust onto the stage, not by choice, but by destiny. Now, for China's chart, this eclipse is a razor sharp as well. The sun in Leo lands exactly on China's Lagnesh Saturn in the 8th house. The 8th house is hidden power, secrets, and transformation. In a lunar eclipse, the moon is darkened, hidden in Earth's shadow. Sun conjunct Lagnesh Saturn in the 8th house, rulers' authority remains strong, but in a crucible of crisis and transformation. Moon eclipse in the 2nd house. 2nd house, it's all about finance, resources, livelihood, and the people and their economic stability can feel like disappearing into shadow. Sun's strength in 8th house could mean leadership survives the storm, seizes hidden resources, pushes through a great transformation. Authority consolidates, reborn with a new vision or for economy or global power. The people's needs are sacrificed for leadership's survival. Economic shadow over the population, even as rulers attempt to project stability. Now, add a striking twist. China's Saturn at 21 degrees Leo is conjunct Donald Trump's ascendant. The very point being burned in China's chart is Trump's rising sign. That's unbelievable. Why I didn't see this earlier. The clash of destinies between America and China is literally unavoidable now. Now, time for Russia chart, and I have two of them. Widely used and one that is experimental and start to give some striking results for me. Let's see the first eclipse. Let's see first eclipse in a regular Russia chart. On September 7th, 2025, the lunar eclipse on the star Achernar, the sword of purification, casts its shadow across Russia's chart and land. So it's utmost important for this country. The moon is eclipsed in the 6th house, the house of workers, military, public health, and hidden enemies. This is a struggle eclipse. The people's mood is darkened, pulled into conflict, and sacrificed. Is it the case? Maybe partially, but I don't see it's happening right now. From here, the moon makes a square to Russia's natal sun in the 9th house. So it's supposed to be the voice of the people, clashes with the ideology of leadership. Foreign affairs collide with domestic unrest. It's a tension, supposedly, between what the rulers preach abroad and what the citizens feel at home. Again, it might be somewhere a little bit, partially, but it's not true in current situation there. Now let's analyze new chart that I'm started using recently. The chart of, I will call it rebirth of Russia. In Russia's experimental chart, the moon is eclipsed in the 5th house, the realm of children, education, culture, and nation's creative heart. It's a heart chakra there. This is the stage of propaganda, speculation, and leadership styles, and eclipse here throws a shadow over joy and expression, testing what's real and what is illusion. Achernar turns this into karmic cleansing, a trial of destiny running through the bloodstream of Russia's culture and ideology. From there, the moon makes a trine to the sun and Mercury in the 9th house. Trine, it's positive aspect, it's not the square. And this is powerful because supposedly it shows leadership seizing the moment to reframe the narrative. And this is exactly what's happening there. To project authority as guardian of values, faith, and justice. It can be used to launch new treaties, a fresh ideological doctrine, or rebranding of Russia's role in the world. The voice of authority grows louder, supported by skillful storytelling and diplomacy. At least the picture of it. This is exactly what is happening now in the country based on news. The eclipse also makes a square to Russia's natal moon in the 2nd house, similar picture to China, the house of wealth, food, financial security, and here lies the tension. The people's survival and economic reality clash with the lofty vision. It's true. Inflation, shortages, and crisis of resources are happening there. They are pressing heavily on the people. While leadership leans on ideology and culture, the gap between propaganda and reality may widen. Now, on the higher evolutionary path, Russia could emerge as a cultural and spiritual authority, harnessing this eclipse energy to strengthen its soft power, education, and global alliances. On the lower evolutionary path, lower vibrational frequencies, let's say, the people's economic suffering undermines the narrative, fueling unrest, speculative risks, or disillusionment in national identity. You know, for different social classes, both scenarios can actually play out. Esoterically, Achernar in the 5th house is like the Archangel sword piercing the nation's heart chakra. It tests whether the joy and cultural identity of Russia are pure or corrupted. The trine to the 9th house, Sun and Mercury, offers protection. A higher teaching is available, but only if truth is honored. The square to the 2nd house moon warns that if material needs are ignored, the karmic river will float over. This eclipse is crossroad for Russia as I see it. Follow the higher vision of low faith and philosophy, or sink into survival, fear, and scarcity. The choice will define how the nation steps into destiny. Another interesting moment for Russia chart, the eclipse lands directly on natal Neptune in the 5th house, and this is the realm of children again, culture, education, creative spark, propaganda sometimes, and the heart of the nation. And Neptune here has long cast a fog, a veil of illusion, sacrifice, and myth-making. And ideology is definitely using it. With the moon eclipsed in Neptune, that veil might get torn. What was hidden about youth, about culture, about national storytelling and speculation suddenly can come into the open. But Neptune co-rules the 6th house of the military, health, workers, and debts. So this eclipse can expose blurred lines in those sectors too. Can be revealed scandals in the army, unrest among workers, hidden illnesses revealed. Even the theme of sacrifice, if people given more than they can bear, rises or can be risen to the surface. The eclipsed moon trines the Sun and Mercury in the 9th house, and again, leadership will try to spin the revelation into a higher story, like we are the guardians of tradition, of law, or of justice. Propaganda may falter, but a new ideological narrative can quickly actually take shape. On the higher path, the eclipse clears away illusions. A new cultural awakening is born, considering the placement and involvement of Neptune, and Russia's steps forward as a guardian of children, of future generations, of deeper truth. On the lower evolutionary path, propaganda collapses, corruption is exposed, and the weight of sacrifice in war, health, and economy falls heavily on the people. And I can easily see, again, depending on the class that people live, the social status, both scenarios can be played out in the reality, our reality of distorted mirrors. Esoterically, this is the river of illusions reaching its end. The Archangel's sword cuts into Russia's heart chakra, where joy and culture live. What is false will dissolve, what is true will be purified. The nation faces a karmic trial to transform myth into truth or to drown in disillusionment. Guys, it's still not the end. While I was preparing for this video, I figured that in Western astrology, 2 interesting asteroids being triggered with this eclipse. It's Zeus, Cupid, and Volcano. Zeus, it's a power lust being tested. Cupid, desire revealed. And Vulcan, or Vulcan, the smith, builds under Jupiter's hand. Together they describe a purification of leaders' appetites, the fall of the old gods of lust and control, and forging of a new order. It's definitely mysteries and can stay as it. Or the first thing I decided to check was Bill Clinton's chart. And well, I didn't see good thing there regarding nearest future, and maybe Epstein files can affect him in the nearest future as well. I would say he can be in use very soon in connection with files. They're high probability. In October, November doesn't look good for him. I will make a separate video about it, about his chart, analyzing it in depth. Again, one by one, let's see the asteroids. Zeus is fire, weapons, leadership, sexual power, ambition. Eclipsed moon means masses, public mood, the emotional body, meaning collective exposure to leaders, lust, abuses of power, or hidden military ambitions. It could play out as revelations, Epstein scandals, or military shocks, because Zeus is as a controlled fire being unleashed. And symbolically, the people witness shadow side of Zeus. Next one is Cupid or Eros, and it means desire, attraction, affairs, karmic bonds, forbidden love. And Sun here, well, Sun in general, it's leadership, authority, rulers, visibility. An eclipse Sun near Cupid means leaders illuminated by their desires, scandals of lust, seduction, forbidden ties. Or more symbolically, the fatal attractions of power become visible. In mundane terms, leaders' affairs, networks of seduction, control, Cupid exposed in broad daylight. Okay, I will leave it at that. Please subscribe and comment, check my website, contact me with any questions. I open for booking the consultations. It was a difficult August for me because as a mother, I decided that, I always had my kids' priorities in front of me, but I decided that from now on, seeing them growing so fast, I will put astrology after my family and my kids. Hopefully, once the school starts, I will be able to make more content, more videos. I started Patreon, but I think I need to put more effort into building a community there, useful resources. Also, whenever I have free time, I have a very important study going. It is research. I'm researching the mental health charts from different points of view, and my goal is to see how to see what is coming, and if there's any way to prevent it from happening. There are remedies, but sometimes karma is, as Mark Boney and Kayan Rao says, sometimes karma can be very firm. Sometimes it can be flexible. So with a flexible karma, it's much easier to work with it. With a more firm and stubborn karma, there's not much to do. So my goal is to see how the chart reflects different types of karmas, which tools we astrologers can use to make a proper assessment in the chart, and to suggest a professional services such as mental health, special professionals services, psychologists, psychiatrists. Okay, I still owe a few videos about Jupiter-Venus financial cycle on the personalities, and there were few interesting points that I really wanted to share. Also, I'm planning to maybe start doing a series of, again, as I did last year, analyzing famous people charts. I'm happy you watched till the end this video, and I hope to see you soon in another videos. And please, let's connect on social media, because that's why we have this tool, to connect. Bye.